All right, so once again, you need to be in your safe spot. You need to keep shelter lowest level of your house. If you don't have a basement, as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Stay away from windows. Get in your safe spot now. This area highlighted in red, that includes parts of Clark County, Greene County, and Montgomery County. Areas in red, all of this right here. Let's time it out for you. Enid, it's headed toward you around 4:38. Mad River doing the same. Northampton doing the same. Yellow Springs, 4:45. We have Springfield at 4:45 as well. Again, you need to make sure you are in your safe spot, lowest level of the home. Yeah, make sure.
It looks like that's
yeah, all right, so right in through here, just on the east side of Dayton, for East 1st Street, US 35, there you go, right in through here. So green moving toward the radar, red moving away. This is a couplet, it's pretty tight, indicates that there is rotation. Nothing on the ground at the moment, no reports at the moment, but treat it as though it is. This is radar indicated, again, we're moving quickly off to the east-northeast at 45 to 50 miles per hour. This tornado warning includes Miami County, it includes Montgomery County, and it includes Clark County until, what did we say, 5?
It's going to be till 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, okay,
Yep.
5 o'clock this morning. So these areas right in through here, East 1st Street,
Yep.
right there,
Yep, that's gonna be...
US 35. All right, and we're going to push that off to the north and east. So this is the area that we're watching very closely. If you live within these areas, you need to be in your safe spot at this very moment. Now, this is moving quickly off to the north and east. Fairborn, you're next in line. Mad River, you're next in line within the next 10 to 15 minutes. It's rain wrapped. Keep that in mind. Notice, we've got all of this red, yellow, and orange. You cannot see where that couplet is on reflectivity. So you need to make sure that you're treating this as though it is on the ground. Nick, if you have anything more?
Yeah, most certainly. So the Weather Service right now is suggesting that there are 2 areas of rotation.
There.
Okay, one of those is going to be just east of downtown Dayton. The second one, you're seeing that yellow spinning column up there towards Huber Heights. The Weather Service is mentioning there are 2 distinct areas of rotation that we need to be keeping our eyes on. So first of all, if you're within any of these warned areas that we just talked about, this includes Springfield, this includes downtown Dayton, Enon, Fairborn, New Carlisle, Donaldsville, Tip City. If you're near Tip City, that's especially just to the south of there, Huber Heights. And so you're under tornado warnings. That means right now you got to get to that basement, small interior room. If you don't have a basement, a bathroom, a hallway, closet, and also something to protect your head, bicycle helmet, sofa cushion. It's just something to protect yourself from any flying debris. Again, we don't have any confirmed reports of a tornado right now, but the Weather Service is definitely showing some signs of rotation. And Brittany, I'm going to take it right back to velocity. We'll take it back to you because that spot there near Riverside, that looks very concerning right now. So let's go back over to Brittany and we'll see if we can get that back full for you because right there near East 3rd Street and Airway Road, there's definitely some good signs there.
So again, something to note, this is called a couplet. The red moving away from radar, the green moving toward the radar. As it gets closer together, you get that tighter rotation, which signifies that we could potentially have something on the ground. At this point in time, it is radar indicated, but near Riverside, right in through here. So if you live within this area, please make sure you're seeking shelter immediately. Get inside an interior room if you don't have a basement. If you have a basement, get there. Grab the bike helmet, grab a pillow, cover your head, just in case. The head's the most important part of your body. The system itself, the cell itself, moving quickly off to the east-northeast at 45 miles per hour. If we could put a track on that with velocity.
Yeah, and so the other thing, too, here, this is heading right towards Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and not too far from there. So there are 2 distinct areas of rotation that we're keeping our eye on. So we're going to track this as kind of a squall so we can track both areas of rotation simultaneously for you. Again, moving east-northeast at 45 to 50 miles per hour. And again, we still see that spinning column there on radar, Britley, so that's another good indication of rotation. I was just checking the debris detector, and the good news is right now I'm not seeing strong signs of anything. That doesn't mean that there's not something down right now, but certainly folks need to be taking their tornado safety precautions. Fairborn, Enon, Yellow Springs, Cedarville, and all those locations that you were just talking about.
Yeah, keep in mind it's also dark and it's rain-wrapped, where you cannot see this tornado if it is on the ground. And some time frames here to pay attention to Enon, Mad River, around 4:40. We have Yellow Springs around 4:45, Cedarville 4:55. We're watching this closely as it moves quickly off to the north and east at 45 miles per hour. There it is. You see that little notch right in through here, and then also Riverside. This is the one that we originally had issued that warning for. That tight rotation now has quickly just moved off. There you go. So New Germany and Woodland Hills, if you live within these areas, you need to be in your safe spot at this very moment. If you have friends and family in this area and you don't think they're awake at this point in time, give them a phone call. Make sure they're awake and in their safe spot. Again, these areas right here in red, moving away from the radar, blue and green, moving toward the radar, showing you that area of rotation. Can we get in on that road right in there?
Yeah, that's going to be Colonel Glenn Highway. You've also got National Road, Springfield Street, Airway Road. This is also heading towards Womack's Mobile Home Park and Buckeye Trailer Court. So a couple mobile home communities in the path of this morning as well. So if you're in a mobile home, I know it's really early this morning. It's 4:40. You don't equate tornadoes in February, especially this early together. But if you're in a mobile home, I got to tell you, you got to find a more substantial shelter as quickly as possible. If you can't, again, you're going to want to follow the same precautions. Centermost part of that mobile home trailer, do the best you can. Make sure that you're protecting yourself from flying debris. And again, if you're just now tuning in, we have a tornado warning for downtown Dayton. It includes also Tip City, well, just to the south of there, New Carlisle. So this is for portions of Miami, Montgomery, Clark, and Greene County until 5 o'clock this morning. And again, I know it's really early, and Britley, that tightest rotation now just crossing into Greene County there, in particular, between Woodland Hills and New Germany. Yeah, New Germany, Woodland Hills, right in through here. So if you live within any of these side streets, please make sure you're seeking shelter. Again, the lowest part of your building. If you have a basement, great, get there. Make sure you're grabbing the pillow, the helmet, whatever to protect the head. If you don't, an interior room with as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Make sure there aren't any windows within any of those rooms. If you have friends and family within these areas, Woodland Hills and New Germany, keep them in the loop. Call them. It's 4:40 in the morning. A lot of us are still asleep. It's dark, and we're also dealing with a rain wrap situation. So keep that in mind as well. The system moving quickly, too, at 45 to 50 miles per hour. So it is hauling as it moves toward Fairborn and Yellow Springs, Mad River, Springfield. You're all included within that tornado warning, that red polygon box, until 5 o'clock this morning. I want to show you reflectivity, kind of show you what I'm talking about. So there's a couple areas of rotation with this line in itself. So put a track on this whole thing for us, will you, Nick, as it pushes off to the north and east again at 45 miles per hour. There you go. So all of us highlighted in red here, we need to make sure we're in our safe spot at this point in time, because within the next 5 to 20 minutes, this system, the cell, is moving your way. So Yellow Springs, it's coming in now. We have Springfield at 4:45, Xenia at 4:50, Cedarville at 4:55, Mechanicsburg around 5 o'clock, South Charleston around 5 o'clock, London around 5:10. So if I said your name, you need to make sure you are in your safe spot at this point in time. Again, a lot of rain coming down with this. You're not going to see it. It's dark anyway. You're not seeing it at this point in time. Just as Nick mentioned, it's February. We're not thinking about tornadoes at this time of year. So please make sure you're taking precaution and seeking your safe spot right now. Yeah, that's a good point, too. So the Weather Service just now pointing out a couple of other things here real quick. The rotation now crossing into Greene County, I-675 near Colonel Glenn Highway. We're definitely notating that very clearly as well. And again, I know it's really early this morning, but if you know somebody that may be a heavy sleeper, give them a call. Also, real quick, we are also simulcasting on WHIO radio. So if you happen to be out and about this morning, you can tune into 1290 and 95.7, along with all of our other radio partners, so that you have other ways to stay informed this morning. You can also download our WHIO weather app. We're streaming there as well, and on WHIO.com. So if you lose power, you can get your mobile device. You can find other ways to stay informed this morning. So again, we do have an active tornado warning. And again, this is not something that you may necessarily equate February with, but now you see these little two yellow indicating little spinning columns, if you will. So what that is telling us is the radar is indicating areas of rotation. So right now over Enon, you need to be in that safe place right now. Mad River Township, Donaldsville, New Carlisle, over there towards Springfield, and that includes I-70. There should be nobody driving on I-70. If you happen to know somebody that might be driving, they need to try to find a more substantial shelter if you can do so safely. And then the second thing, you see that other spinning column down there in between Fairborn and Beaver Creek. So we have two distinct areas of rotation. Again, it's not been confirmed of anything on the ground, nothing yet from the Weather Service in terms of storm reports, but Britley, this is probably one of the more stronger signatures we will see through the morning. Absolutely, and you can tell on reflectivity as well. It's not just on velocity, and you can see the notch within that. You see that little circle right here south of Airborne. So that indicates some rotation right in here, just north of Beaver Creek again, and then a
second rotation just north of Enid and pull up velocity. There you go. You can see the reds and the greens kind of matching up, and you see them as they get closer and closer together and tighter together. That's how we know that we have some stronger rotation. And while it doesn't look too impressive, it's enough to trigger that warning from the National Weather Service, and it is just simply that, radar indicated. As of now, we don't have any reports of this on the ground, but treat it as though it is. Make sure you're getting into your safe spot. If you live in Mad River Township, if you live just north of Beaver Creek and south of Fairborn, please make sure you're in your safe spot. As many walls in between you and the outside as possible. I can't stress that enough. And the cell is moving quickly off to the east-northeast at 45 miles per hour. So next in line, Yellow Springs, Springfield. Watch this closely. Cedarville, you're next in line too, within the next 10 to 20 minutes. So please make sure you're in your safe spot at this point in time, and we can't stress this enough. It's dark, it's rain-wrapped, and typically we don't have tornadoes in February here in Ohio. So you need to make sure that if you have friends and family and they live within this area, give them a call. I know we've said this several times, but it's dark and it's early. Not a lot of us are up at this point. Make sure they have some way of being alerted and getting awake to get to their safe spot. The track on this, Xenia, within the next, let's say, 2 or 3 minutes, it's moving in. We have Cedarville at 4:50, South Vienna, South Charleston at 5 o'clock this morning, South Solon and London at 5:10 to 5:15. So if you live within any of those areas, if I just said them, you need to make sure you're getting into your safe spot right this minute. We have a couple areas of rotation. It's not just one. Mad River Township, just south of Fairborn as well. You'll see the notches on reflectivity. They're kind of distinct. They're getting a little bit better. So if you can see them on reflectivity, you can definitely see them on velocity. So right here, if we can take that, there we go. Take that off and zoom into street level here. Perfect.
Yep, and that just moved on us a little bit. Also, Montgomery and Miami County, the tornado warning has been allowed to be canceled for you. So if you're in downtown Dayton, you can come out of your tornado safe place at this time. Just know that it's probably still raining, and same for you in Huber Heights at this point. But yeah, really, there's one of the areas of rotation. You got State Road 235, Enon Road, Hyde Road, and you've got US 68 there near the village of Goes. And it looks like they may have just canceled the tornado warning. Okay, they just dropped a little bit more back at this point. So now we are looking at those of you Fairborn, Beaver Creek, Yellow Springs, and Springfield and Britley, even up there in Clark County towards Enid and Mad River, some reds and greens pretty close together there at this particular moment as well.
Pretty broad rotation in Mad River Township, but still rotation nonetheless.
And hey, Britley, there's also a very subtle signature here of some lofted debris.
All right, and so there may be...
That would give us a better indication. Weather Service also notating that.
Okay.
There was not enough to be highly confident that there was a tornado on the ground, but this is an indication that we're going to have to watch. And remember that correlation coefficient, this is telling us things that are non-meteorological targets, such as, you've got things like maybe birds and trees and branches and leaves and stuff like that. So we'll have to watch that signature and see if that continues.
Right. So that indicates that there could have been a funnel. It may have hit tree limbs, and it may have just picked that up and lofted it up. There may have been a brief touchdown. There could be a bit of debris on the ground within this area. But as of this point in time, it is still radar indicated. The National Weather Service keeping an eye on that for you and keeping us updated. That way we can relay that information to you. Enon's still dealing with that rotation moving into Mad River Township. You'll see that little notch right here. Watching that closely as it moves off quickly to the east-northeast at 45 miles per hour. Again, this warning still for parts of Greene and Clark County until 5 o'clock this morning. Some notches you're starting to be able to see, but again, it's moving off quickly. It's not just the threat of a tornado. We're talking about winds over 60 miles per hour. We're talking about pea to quarter-size hail as well. So if you live with any of these areas in the red box, you need to make sure you're in your safe spot at this point in time. Chattawaba, we're at 4:56. South Vienna, South Charleston, around 5 o'clock this morning. London, Medway, we are at 5:15. Keep that in mind. Make sure you're in your safe spot, lowest level of your home. If you can't get to a basement, as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Make sure you're staying away from windows as well.
Yeah, that's another good point, too. And something else to kind of help keep you in mind in terms of where we are talking about this morning. You notice we've got velocity pulled up here now as well to kind of show you a couple of things. First of all, this is approaching Clark State University, if you're very familiar with that area. Also, I-70 at US 68, State Route 72. You're also talking about there near Ohio State Route 41 and I-70, not too far from there. There's a Sheetz gas station there and an Aldi distribution center. As you're working down there towards Yellow Springs there along US 68, Young's Jersey Dairy, kind of giving you some landmarks to kind of help you give a better idea as to to where we're talking about, but a couple different areas of rotation that we're monitoring, maybe a little tighter here, just to the west of US 68 and southwest of Yellow Springs. That's going to be there along State Route 235 near Enon Road at this particular point in time. And again, I think these shear markers will probably update. I do think looks like there could be another area of tighter rotation, perhaps there along South Tecumseh. And I'll draw for reference here. I'll draw that up there in just a second, but that's right along the Clark and Greene County line at this time.
Yeah, so we're watching that closely. And again, any of these areas highlighted in the red box, make sure that you're in your safe spot at this point in time. I mean, it's coming in probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes, and that gives you enough time to get to your safe spot. It's not only the wind, of course, but it's the heavy rain, too. We're talking about rain rates, excuse me, of 4 to 5 inches per hour. So if you do happen to be within this red box, we're also dealing with the threat of this being rain wrapped. You're not going to see it. It's also dark. We're not going to see it at all. So make sure you're getting into your safe spot. If you have friends and family, give them a call, wake them up, make sure they're in their safe spot as well. This again for northern Greene County as well as parts of Clark County until 5 o'clock this morning. Several areas of rotation, again near Yellow Springs and just now up towards Springfield. So if you live within these areas, you need to make sure you're getting into our safe spot. If we could switch that over to reflectivity. Yep. There you go. So quite a bit of rain with this. As soon as this whole system moves out of here, then we should be in the clear at the moment. So if we can widen this out. Yeah, so we've got another line stretching all the way back from Mechanicsburg just to the north of Fairfield. So all of this is going to push through, and then we are in the clear this morning. But at this point, we have still the severe thunderstorm warning that's highlighted in yellow and the tornado warning until 5 o'clock this morning for Clark and Greene County.
Yeah, it looks like right now the Weather Service is kind of focused more in on an area just to the south of Springfield. You notice that rotating circle there right behind me? That is an indication where the radar is saying, hey, we've got some rotation here. This is probably where the best chance of a tornado could be. That right now looks to be right along US 68 at I-70, right in between Springfield and Yellow Springs. Again, that's coming right towards Clark State University. You've also got, you've not too far from the sheets that's out there just to the east of Springfield. You got the Aldi Distribution Center over there towards Harmony. Again, this is moving very, very quickly this morning. And again, as Britley mentioned, this is a rain wrap type situation. You don't want to be caught outside trying to get a view of this. But again, that shear marker there, that's what we're kind of going for. Looks like that may be the best area of rotation. Yeah, Britley, there's actually a couple here. I'll circle them. There's one right there along Possum Road, also there towards Blee Road, and another one perhaps, and for reference, this right down here, this is the Clark and Greene County line right there. So right now, just to the south of Springfield looks to be the biggest focus for any kind of potential tornadoes that could be on the ground right now.
Yeah, and for reference, can you state some of those roads within that area?
Yes, we've got US 68, you've got Blee Road, Mills Road, Selma Road, Leffel Lane. You've also got the Peacock Acres Community, Green Hedges, Limestone Road. That's Route 72, by the way, Fairfield Pike. And again, so you can see where these reds and greens are coming together. That's where we have the best chance. So we have winds going 2 different directions in the radar there. So that's where we're seeing that potential for that potential tornado. And then also got Crable Road Farms, Possum Road. So if you know any of those communities up there that we just talked about in the velocity scan just updated, it's not just Clark County, but into Greene County, between Yellow Springs and Cedarville. You've got Larkins Road, State Route 72 North, Conley Road, and Wilberforce Clifton Road. So if you know anybody close to there, you guys have got to be in that tornado safe place right now. And Britley, again, I know it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Kids may be going to be getting up in a little bit and getting ready for school. And this is certainly a rough wake up this morning. Absolutely.
So keep that in mind as well. And make sure that you are staying in that safe spot until 5 o'clock this morning. We have 7 minutes left on this warning. It may be extended, but at this point in time, it's just for Northern Greene and Clark County until 5 o'clock this morning. Watching this closely, not just for the threat of rotation, but it's had a history of producing winds over 60 miles per hour. Back in Henry County, we had trees reported down on 40. So it doesn't take a tornado. Keep in mind that it is not on the ground. It's just radar indicated at this point, and it is moving quickly, moving off to the east and northeast at 45 to 50 miles per hour. So South Vienna, South Solon, within the next 5 to 10 minutes headed your way. You need to be in your safe spot. Midway at 5:15 and West Jefferson around 5:20. So if I said your city name, please make sure that you are in your safe spot at this point in time. Hopefully you have a basement. If you don't, you're in an interior room. As many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Stay away from windows. Grab the bike helmet, the pillow. Cover your head. It's the most important part of your body. There are these areas of rotation, several of them along this line as it moves in. And right here, right there. You see the reds and the greens mixing together. It's what we call a couplet. And as they get closer and closer together, it indicates tighter rotation. So it's in between Springfield and Harmony at the moment, just to the south, as it moves again quickly off to the east at around 45 miles per hour.
Yeah, and the Springfield airport just picked up a gust of 60 miles per hour. So even if you're not seeing a tornado, you still have that severe thunderstorm warning. And remember, that's anything over 58 miles per hour. So we're definitely seeing the winds are validated this morning. I've seen a couple of reports on Facebook of some minor damage. If you are seeing those, make sure you can send those into our newsroom here as well. And again, and just a reminder, if you happen to maybe needing to be going out shortly, we are simulcasting our coverage right now on WHIO radio as well. You can listen on all of our radio partners there, 1290, 95.7, along with the K99 and the Eagle. We're keeping you informed this morning. Looks like we have another new tornado warning now.
Just issued.
Yep, till 5:30. So that's for the rest of eastern Clark County there in northeastern Greene County. Movement right now sitting at 45 miles per hour. Radar indicated rotation at this particular point in time.
Yeah, and you're seeing those areas right there, the bright red and pink color mixing in with the greens. So if we can zoom in right in through here, there's a couple areas of rotation, but this one's a little more prominent right here. There you see the roads. All right, I can't read them right here, but Carville Road at Farms, and it looks like You've got
Possum Road, you've got Leffel Lane, Bird Road, Laybourne Road, South Charleston Pike, Ridge Road, Pitchin Road, along with Titus Road, and anybody right there along I-70 between US 68 and, say, State Route 41 this morning. Again, that's going to be between Clark State University and the Aldi Distribution Center. That's where this rotation looks to be a little strongest, and especially just to the south of I-70. And there's the latest scan. So that is right now at I-70 in Charleston Pike. That's going to be there at State Road 41. You can see Fletcher Chapel Road will get you right down to street level here this morning. And yeah, there's that shear marker. That's not surprising. And again, when we see that, that is an indication that there's some pretty good signs of rotation. I was just checking debris tracker. There you go, Britley.
Right there.
I think we've got something there.
All right, so there may be a possible tornado on the ground. It's right now still radar indicated, but if you live within this area, you may have a possible tornado on the ground. What you're seeing right here is possible debris lofted in the air. So these areas highlighted in yellow and orange indicate exactly that. So keep that in mind. Also, can we widen things out and put a track on that, possibly?
Yep, sure can. So I'm going to leave that. Oh, there's another one
right here.
That one's even stronger.
Yeah, so in the greens indicate that that's lofted higher in the air with more debris. So we may possibly, at this point in time, have two tornadoes on the ground.
Yep.
Keep in mind, they are radar indicated at this point. We're staying in touch with the National Weather Service, but we do have two possible tornadoes with debris signatures at this point in time, moving off to the east at 45 miles per hour. Track on this. South Charleston, moving in within the next 4 minutes. Get to your safe spot at this point in time. Midway, 4:15. West Jefferson at 4:25. Please make sure you're in your safe spot. The second warning just issued for the eastern side of Greene, as well as Clark County, until 5:30 this morning. Noticing some bright yellow. Nick, do you have more to say from the National Weather Service?
Yes, so the Weather Service is now calling this a confirmed tornado right along Charleston Pike and Fletcher Chapel Road. So this now means, folks, that our language is going to change just a little bit. We now have a confirmed tornado. Weather Service radar, we're seeing it right now on our debris tracker. It is showing that we have a confirmed tornado on the ground just southeast of Springfield. So again, that means you've got to be in that tornado safe place. Get you below ground, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We saw that just a couple scans ago, but now, Britley, the Weather Service is going to call that a confirmed tornado warning. It is on the ground right now. All
right, so let's take you there and then widen things out, put a track on this, show you where it's next in line, because at this point we know where it's at and you need to be in your safe spot. Hopefully you're there at the moment listening to us. Do not leave that safe spot until this warning is over. Again, it goes until 5:30, so you have a half hour left on this warning. So over toward Harmony, that's where we have that debris signature. Again, we have two debris signatures here, but widening things out, put a track on this whole system, or this whole cell itself, and we're noticing these cities right here in this red box. So South Charleston, South Vienna, South Solon, London, Midway, West Jefferson. Get to your safe spot right now. South Solon, it's moving in within the next 5 minutes time. Midway, within the next 15 minutes. West Jefferson, within the next 20 minutes. You need to make sure that you're in the lowest level of your home. We do now have a confirmed tornado on the ground where you're seeing this area highlighted in yellow. Debris has been lofted up in the air, so it is now confirmed from the National Weather Service. That tornado warning again for Greene and Clark County until 5:30 this morning. So you're seeing these areas right here. Oh, all right, so now it's moving. So as it continues to move, we still have that debris lofted up in the air. That's a good indicator that something is on the ground. So you're seeing these areas right here, and I'm not sure what that road reads.
That's going to be New Love Road at the corner of New Love Road and Plattsburgh Road. So we're kind of getting out in more rural parts of Clark County, but also Crawford Mobile Home Park. Folks, a mobile home is not the worst place to. That's not the best place to be this morning. You've got to find a more substantial shelter.
And you're running out of time.
Yeah, so you're really running out of time pretty quick. Now the good news is once we get this past South Vienna, South Charleston, it's going to start to move. Okay, yes, so that right there is a perfect indicator that we do have a tornado on the ground, I think, at this particular point. Yeah, we're seeing that extra spinning icon there. That's an even greater indication of a tornado on the ground. And now the Weather Service is saying that it's moving southeast of Harmony towards South Vienna. So again,
that's not a good sign. When you hear that, Nick, when you hear that it's moving to the southeast, you know that it's strengthening.
Yep.
So keep that in mind. So that system, that cell itself, now taking more of a southeast dive. And so widen things out here for me so that we can kind of get a general idea where we are. South Vienna and South Charleston, it's looking like it's going to move right in between you two. And so now this box is highlighted in purple. It looks like we have that confirmed tornado. Again, the National Weather Service has confirmed that. So we see this, and again, keep in mind it's rain wrapped. You're not going to see it. You're going to hear it. It's dark, and you need to make sure that if you have friends and family within this area, you need to make sure you're giving them a call right now because it's 5 o'clock in the morning and a lot of us aren't awake at this point in time. You need to make sure they're getting awake and to their safe spot. Again, a confirmed tornado on the ground in between Harmony and South Vienna. Looks like it's spiking, so that's not a good sign either.
Yeah, so that's about to cross Urbana-Lisbon Road in between South Vienna and Plattsburgh. So for reference right now on the map here, I'm going to draw a line. So this is US 40. Okay, up there to the far north, that's I-70. This right here is Urbana-Lisbon Road. You've got Plattsburgh Road right here. So there's the community of Plattsburgh. There's the community of South Vienna. And this is going to track right in between them now. The Weather Service still actually moving this now northeast. So, but again, they're still continuing with a tornado on the ground. So you've got to be in that safe spot right now. I know it's very early in the morning. Some of you may be getting up and getting ready for work. But again, it looks like from what I can see, and kind of going back a couple of frames, this may have touched down just to the southeast of the I-70 and Ohio Route 41 intersection. And that continues to be on the ground. And really, this has been here for several scans now. So this is not something that may necessarily lift anytime soon. Velocity, velocity is still pretty strong right there too.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is what we call a couplet, where we get the greens and the reds and even the purples starting to match up. And as you get them tighter and tighter, that signifies that we have quick rotation within that cell. So this is where the tornado would be, near Plattsburgh Road. Again, watching that, and that's exactly what's happening. You're seeing that's debris. This is correlation coefficient. It shows you debris lofted up in the air. So there's obviously something on the ground. It is confirmed from the National Weather Service. Again, this tornado warning for Clark and Greene County until 5 o'clock this morning. If you live just off toward, what is that, Plattsburgh?
Yeah, it's going to be Plattsburgh and South Vienna.
Yep. So if you live within these areas, you need to be in your safe spot right now. If you're not, get there at this point in time. I know it sounds scary, but there is a confirmed tornado on the ground, so I need you to take heed of this warning at this point in time. Get to the lowest level of your house. If you don't have a basement, you need to make sure that you're getting many walls in between you and the outside as possible. So it is there. It's in Plattsburgh at this point in time. You're probably hearing debris hit the windows, hit the rooftop. You need to be in your safe spot. Again, that's just south of South Vienna at this point in time. And this morning goes until 5:30 this morning for Clark and Greene County. Can we put a track on this too as it moves out?
I'll get an individual track on that too. So also it's worth noting, I've been getting some questions. Is Dayton now clear for a tornado warning? Yes, let me redraw that track. So Montgomery County, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire for you. So you can come out of shelter at this point. But if you live down there towards Cedarville, South Charleston, South Vienna, Harmony, you need to stay in shelter. Springfield, you are also clear at this stage. It looks like, Bradley, this is a pretty rural part of Clark County, so no official communities in the path. But if you're east of Harmony and west of London now, you definitely need to be in that safe place right now.
Yeah, within the next 15 to 20 minutes, London and West Jefferson, it will be right over top of you. And again, just as Nick mentioned, it's a pretty rural area, but we do still have homes in these areas. So make sure that you're in your safe spot, lowest level of the building. And again, just because we're focusing in on this one area doesn't mean that we don't have other problems across the Miami Valley. Widen things out, you see it's not just that area of rotation, it's wind too. We've had reports of 60 miles per hour with this line moving through, and gusts even stronger than that at times. And we've had tree limbs down over 40 back in Henry County, Indiana. So that's that same line that's moving our direction. And that tornado watch still in effect for much of the Miami Valley until 6 o'clock this morning. So our focus now is, of course, that tornado warning for Greene and Clark County until 5:30. It looks like Madison County as well, just outside of the viewing area. But again, showing you that rotation now off to the east of South Vienna and moving along National Road, North National Road. So it's just south of Brighton. It'll likely move right to your south as it continues to take more of that southerly dive. It's still taking more of that southerly dive, which indicates that it could be strengthening. And you're noticing more of a green now popping, so more debris coming in and lofted even higher.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. So keep in mind, with debris detector, what that tool is doing is it's scanning for things that are non-meteorological targets, things like bricks, boards, trees, branches and stuff like that, and other targets that could be things like your toys at home and things like that nature that may be outside. So what that's telling us is, hey, that signature that came back, you notice it was yellow and green there. That's an indication that some debris is being lofted into the air, and that's an indication to us that a tornado is on the ground. So the good news is this is not too far from exiting the viewing area, but if you do happen to live in places like South Vienna and Brighton, we are still dealing with this tornado warning until 5:30. Now you notice the shear markers may not be there now, but if we go back over to that debris detector, so right there along East National Road, you've also got Wilson Road here as well, South Houston Pike, North Houston Pike. If you're familiar with any of these areas whatsoever, and it looks like now that is right on the Clark and Madison County line. So another scan or two, and this will start to move out of the viewing area at this particular stage, Britley.
And something else to note, the greens are starting to phase. Now, mind you, it's cycling a little bit, and that's typical of these types of cells, but we are watching this turn from green to yellow, green to yellow. So it's hitting some debris, and then it's starting to taper back a bit. Then it'll hit something else and start to pull back. So we're watching that as it moves through. Thankfully, it doesn't look like it's hitting a lot of buildings or trees at this point in time. But what we have to watch now is not just the fact that we're dealing with the tornado, but also the wind and also the hail. So could we pop that hail up as well?
Yeah, we've not looked at that in a little while, and looks like there's been a pretty good hail track with this storm. Actually, a couple of them tracing all the way back into Montgomery County over the last hour, even up there towards Vandalia, crossing over there towards Enid and Mad River Township through Springfield. And again, you see that flashing purple box. That's an indicator of where we have that confirmed tornado warning. But hail is certainly a hazard. It may not be the type of hail to cause significant damage for you this morning, but it is certainly something else that's going to maybe help you wake up this morning and realize, uh-oh, there's something going on. You definitely want to take action. Remember, a warning means that it's happening right now. It's imminent. You've got to take action to protect yourself and properties. And also make sure this morning, if you have kids, make sure that they're getting up and going this morning as well. Make sure you're taking your pets to shelter. Sometimes that can kind of be forgotten about. So make sure you're also protecting them, and make sure you have helmets or something on your head to protect yourself from any flying debris, because again, this is a confirmed tornado, meaning that there is something on the ground right now causing damage and impacting people. So that's why we are live with you this morning. And again, if you've happened to lost power, you can watch us online, WHIO.com. You can also simulcast us on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO radio and all of our radio partners as well. So multiple ways to stay informed with you, and we're going to stick with this until this threat has been allowed to expire. Britley?
Right. We'll stay with you until the warning expires at 5:30. So you have about another 20 minutes with us here, wall to wall, and you're noticing, again, that flashing polygon and that purple polygon. That's the tornado warning until 5:30 this morning for Clark, Greene, and parts of Madison County, where we have rotation, and you can't really see it on reflectivity, and that's not a good thing. It's rain wrapped, but you can see it on velocity. So you're seeing the reds and the greens starting to match up. Where you get that is what's called a couplet. So the red moves away from the radar, green moves toward the radar, and as they get closer together, you get tighter and tighter rotation. Now, it does look like there's some sense of weakening, if I'm correct. It doesn't look
it definitely
as
looks a little
tight,
weaker,
but it's still rotation nonetheless, so keep that in mind. We still have debris, and it looks like it's lofted and blown now, so you don't have that defined circle. It's now pushed all across the upper levels here. So then we wind up with debris, again, still flying in the air, even if the tornado may have lifted. So keep that in mind. Stay away from windows. Make sure you're still in your safe spot. Again, hopefully you have a basement, but if you don't, stay away from windows and as many walls in between you and the outside as possible.